Hey ladies and gentlemen, I'm Guyce. This stream is a brand new stream that I'm trying to do. Started a brand new character last week and basically taking out low skill, low cost ships to do faction warfare in. I chose faction warfare personally because there's lots of fights to be had and can still make plenty of ISK while doing it. I'm just making sure the stream and everything is going up. Let's see what we'll be talking about starting off. This is mostly focused towards newer players, and we're going to go straight into PvP, assuming that you have already done the career agents, tutorials, and maybe even started some of your training. Right now, what I'm using is a all tier 1 setup, really cheap. I want to say with the rigs. Tight fits starting off, so very understandable to see something like this on a fit. You'll be working some core skills, of course, and I will be talking about that especially. Let's see. Yeah, so I guess starting off again, it's all just tier 1 modules. Warp Disruptor, Shield Extender, MWD, got railguns, and even tier 1 ammo. So there isn't much to the fit. I got about 1200 hit points, shield, a DPS. Let's see, at the closest range DPS you're looking at 42, and then DPS is going to drop with range. So it's kind of a pretty basic kind of kite fit, and we'll take a look at some skills to talk about here. One of the first things you're going to want to do when you get into the game, of course, is do the tutorials and do basically anything that gets you practice with combat. I did a lot of mining when I first started playing, and then I got into missions and actually was practicing around. It's not the same as PvP, not at all, but it gives you an idea of game mechanics and resistances and stuff like that. So kind of similar setup and such. Okay, here's a skill list that basically I don't have a solid list as it changes depending on what you start off with. There's some very basic skills though that are really important, and that's your core fitting skills. This is something that you're going to want to get taken care of pretty much right from the start. The higher those are, those bonuses, those 5% bonuses, 10% bonuses, 15%, getting those up to like level 3 are pretty key. So what I did was I got right away, jumped in, I did the tutorials on this character, I did the career agents, and then I started missioning right away. So I was running some missions, getting up the ISK so I could get some starting ships, and I've done this all. It's only been 8 days, so I still have some skills training. If you do it right though, and you only pick one weapon system, stay away from drones. Drones are very skill intense, and you need pretty much tier 2 drones in order to make it really effective. Tier 1 drones are really not, they're not that great. So try to avoid drones if at all possible. Stick to a weapon system. Normally, I would say one tank setup and one armor weapon system. Something like shields and missiles, or armor and lasers, or just anything that kind of, I don't know. You'll fill it out. Like I said, you'll see kind of what you like to do as you're doing some missions and stuff like that. For the older players, you guys might already have a lot of skills. But I'm going to talk about some things here. There's even older players that have been playing for a while that maybe have excuses like, well, I'm going to get all these tier 2, all these skills to max or whatever. Well, this is the thing, is I'm going to go out there and I have a lot of skills at level 3. The ships I'll be using, this one right here is a really throwaway ship. I built it as I was missioning and stuff. Really tight, as you can see. This is why some of those skills are important. Now, the difference in this ship and like a Meta 4 or Meta 3 modded ship is that you can actually save a lot of CPU. And with some modules, power your CPU and power grid by Meta 3 or 4 modding them. So, and that's with my next fits, I'll actually show that. One tool I advise using, so you don't waste a lot of ISK, especially, is EFT. Here is EFT. See, you can do character editor, and this is really getting into the APIs. Add a new character. Let's see, create new character. So I already added Guyce, and then API skill import. If you set up your API, and you can keep your skills updated, and it'll keep updating your stats. And as you can see, I've got a couple fits opened up here already. And if this little, let's see, there's a, if there was red or any red like in the numbers up at the top corner, top right corner, or if there was red where that, see where that character name is, right up here. You can see a character name, all 5s or without skills. It's a drop down box, or if you have other characters loaded. Okay, well that green right next to it, if I was running something else that I couldn't use yet, then that would be red. And if you mouse over it, it would show you the skills you needed to use it. So EFT is a great tool. Basically, this is essentially the fit that I'm running right now on this Atron starter fit. It's all tier 1, like I said, and then see, it's a really tight fit. And then when I go to the Meta 2, the CPU itself is dropped by a lot, so I'm able to upgrade stuff like a Warp Disruptor 2, increasing range on that and stuff like that. So yeah, EFT, use it, love it. Don't waste a bunch of money trying to see if fits work. And then basically yeah, basically I'm gonna get going now. So all tier 1 setup, I'm gonna be covering some really basic stuff to get started out in low sec. I have already joined a corporation and am in faction warfare, and I am one jump out from low sec right now. and I'm basically just going to go in and start doing what I need to do. Skills are not quite where I want them to be, but I definitely am starting the stream a little bit early based off of what I wanted to do. So 10, 11 days, 15 days, if you're training some basic skills. Let's see, I got armor skills going, and I also got shield skills going for tank. I definitely went with both, and the reason for that is because I want to be able to show you guys a little bit on all sides of the spectrum, and we'll see what happens. So definitely want to get some variation out there. I'm pretty much going to be doing this stream for a while, and I'm really not going to be doing anything crazy with skills. So I'm not going to go around fiving all the skills or anything like that. But there's a couple skills I want to talk about that are important as soon as you get all these level 3s and you do get out there. The biggest one is thermodynamics, and okay, this is kind of important. It allows you to overheat your modules, and the reason I'm going to talk about this is it actually does not take a lot to get this skill. And I should have probably prioritized these a little more, but 2 days, 6 hours from where I am, and that's definitely a priority that I'm going to be shooting for. So thermodynamics, what it does, allows you to overheat your modules. And like I said, normally I would prioritize this. Power grid management, level 4. Science, level 4. These are both easy level 4s to get, and you're going to want to get power grid management and your CPU management up to level 5 eventually anyway. So these are actually some of the first 4s that you'll be getting is your power grid management. And science being 20 hours, that's not a horrible waste. So what the skill actually does though, besides allowing you to overheat your modules, is reduces heat damage by 5% per level. So I mean, the higher you have that, the better. But I'm going to show you exactly what that means. So we're going to take a look at one gun here, and scroll down. Heat damage, required thermodynamics level 1. Overload rate of fire bonus 15%. Okay, so 15% on your rate of fire. When you're able to stack that with any other rate of fire bonuses, your magnetic, there's a module, it's going to give you a rate of fire bonus of 7.5%. Oh, so your overheating automatically is double. So yeah, I would say thermodynamics is a very important skill to have, and it takes a lot of practice to play with. Hopefully next week on the stream I'll actually be talking a lot more about thermodynamics and overheating, because we'll probably be burning out a lot of modules and dying horribly with the lower skills. So higher skills, longer you're gonna be able to survive stuff. Capacitor, tank, like everything kind of adds up. So, but we're gonna go out, we're gonna have some fun with a little tier 1 fit ship that I've been using, and again, I'll be doing faction warfare. So if that's not really your cup of tea, then what well, you can basically do whatever kind of PvP you want, but I basically I'll pretty much be living in low sec. So that's how I'm going to make money. It's how I'm going to be finding fights. Okay, so me personally, there is one reason why I chose faction warfare. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up for factional warfare missions, and I'm going to go look for these agents in low sec and just pick a few to knock out real quick. Let's see. Yeah, so starting off, you're not going to be able to do much. No level 2s, but level 1s and level 2s both you should be able to do in frigates. Level 3s I have not tried as far as faction warfare goes, but I know I can assault frig level 3s, most level 3 missions normally. So when you get like higher in and higher standing and higher in to your skill training, you should be able to hit level 3s, even throwing in cruiser skills and utilizing the same kind of tactics, just a bigger ship. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding waypoints. Looks like multiple Alright, and the reason I'm just adding a bunch of waypoints right now is because I'm going to go and accept all these missions and then complete them as I go. The other thing about faction warfare missions is that when you do a mission, this is not like normal mission running. It'll open up a beacon so that anybody can warp in on you and fight you. So, gonna get fights just doing missions. I'll have targets. That'll be a thing. And so right now, what I did was I went ahead and did that. Prefer shorter route. Ignore security status. I don't really care about the security status because this character is not negative security. So if you have to worry about negative security, make sure you set your route to lowest security, avoid high sec and such. And, so, alright, let's see what happens here. Now, since I am going into low sec, and I do plan on PvPing, and I personally am not worried about my security status. Okay, I am going to make sure that I turn off the safety. Right now, safety is enabled. Click to change safety settings. Okay, you got options. Disable safety, partial safety. Okay, so yeah. So I disable my safety when I'm PvPing. That's pretty much it. So it's just easier. Don't shoot stations and such. I really only know that. Okay, so already on my overview, I see that I don't actually have it set up exactly right as far as states go. There are overview setting YouTube videos and such to go through. And set up your overview settings. That is something that does matter. So I will talk about this right now. Is that the one thing that I do is starting off is I just have a default tab, which I pretty much have everything on. It's really just random junk. PvP and drones, loot, travel. I actually just basically have used the default tabs. So if you add a tab, load preset brackets, load defaults to tab. Let's see. Preset. I don't remember which ones I had on my preset, but defaults. You have all drones, general loot, mining, PvP, warp 2. So I actually have the PvP, the drones, and the warp 2 tabs, which I set up. Some of the things for faction warfare and like having court mates and fleet mates on your overview, when you probably want to ignore them, you can go into your overview states. And let's see, trying to find this stuff is there we go. Okay. Show by default, always show. Okay, so you can not only show or not show, you can prioritize. So if you do want to see them, hold on, I'm actually going to have to explain that in a later video, because we're about to go into low sec here. Anyway, changing the states allows you to change what you see on your overview. So if you don't want to see neutrals, first of all, I would suggest seeing neutrals, because some neutrals will shoot at you no matter what. They might be becoming or working on their negative sec status, or just willing to shoot anybody and pay their tags off, pay off their security status with tags. So I suggest keeping them on the PvP tab. Okay, so right now I have the tactical overlay. Talk about this really quick, and setting up maybe your hotkeys. I don't have to worry about drones. Again, drones very skill intensive. I'm really skipping them for the most part right now and adding it to the bottom of the queue list for this character. So eventually you might see some drone stuff, but for the most part I have one ship set up that's using one tier 1 drone, so it's really just an annoyance. See, group your weapons, don't group your weapons. There's reasons to group and reasons to not group, or even splitting weapons. I won't cover that too much. But right now I am in low sec, and I need to be paying attention to a few things. What's in space? So directional scanner, this is definitely something you want to get used to. There's YouTube videos on D-scan as well. So I would definitely check out YouTube, and I will try to link a few things. Here and there, but okay. The other thing too is I put my passive modules on, but I wanted to talk about just hiding your passive modules so it didn't look like such a mess. So, let's see. Really, I'm just going to accept everything. I'm running a tier 1 frigate. I shouldn't have any ship restrictions. The first thing I'm going to do is add a waypoint to the end of my destinations right now. And accept the mission, I'm going to move on. Faction warfare missions are fairly simple. Most of them are like orbit and shoot. Right now, showing a few people in local, but nothing really on scan. Well, I don't think they would have shot at me on the gate. It's tempting, but I think I'm going to keep moving forward right now. And right now I'm back in high sec, so I don't have to really worry about D-scan. Normally I do hit D-scan even though I'm going through high sec depending on what character I'm on. I don't spend a lot of time in high sec unless I'm moving ships. But out of habit I still D-scan. So you might see me doing that, going through high sec on this character a lot. Couple things that I actually have not done yet and I'm doing right now is setting some default keep it ranges and orbits for my hotkeys. also would like to hide my passive modules. Keeps the cell cleaner right here. You don't have a bunch of modules that are not active. Okay, so I just popped into a system right now that has 6 war targets. Being faction warfare, you got like half of the faction warfare factions against you, and the other half are with you. Gonna kind of eyeball this. Okay, got any curses? Alright, I saw some fighting happening. Didn't know if it was going to be outside of some of the complexes here. So I bounced around to a couple just to see. Again, I'm in a tier 1 ship, tier 1 ammo. It's not a lot I can do against some of these targets, depending on how they're set up, but we'll try anyway. So, most likely going to be moving on to grab some faction warfare missions and see if I can't pull people into my sights. The difference between faction warfare missions and your regular missions is that you're going to be seeing beacon on faction warfare missions. Basically anybody can warp in on you, so the opportunity for fights will be a thing. Also, if you're looking to get more and more fights, then give me missions. You can basically shoot at anybody, work that security status down, and plenty of people will attack you going through gates or anytime. So if you don't mind being shot at or want to be shot at more, then do that. A couple of warnings though. Careful about stations and gates. Security still a thing in low-sec, so you have to worry about station guns and gate guns, but you do not have to worry about Concord. So take your fights to planets, suns, or the complexes out here. And that's a Griffin. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. First loss. Alright. So, as you can see, some range issues. I'm gonna tell these guys good fight. It was a pretty long fight. It was just a passive shield tank that I lost there. This guy's been playing since '09. This guy since pretty fresh there, 2014 June. So that doesn't really mean anything. Who knows where their skills have been or if they've been playing off and on. But it was a pretty decent fight. There's a lot of slingshots. A couple times I could have got away. I tried actually, but they got right back in range. So let's see. So first thing I'm gonna do is I should just let them pod me actually, but go ahead and self-destruct, or somebody might land and kill me anyway. Alright, so I figured it wouldn't be too long before I lost this ship if I engaged anything. My range is definitely a lot lower than pretty much any other person fighting out at that range. So these guys were fighting at about 20 kilometers roughly and still able to hit me, and I was pretty much out at I had to be within probably about 14 kilometers myself, so, and that's with my long range ammo loaded. So let's see, I basically told him good fight and local. It's not bad. Like I said, it was a pretty decent fight. Lasted a while. They were hitting me. I was pretty much unable to hit them for the most part, so they were definitely faster than me. But that's something you can get some modules to help you with as well. But that's alright. This next ship that I'm going to go out with is actually an Atron as well. The only thing is that I should have a little more HP, EHP, a little more speed, a little more damage as well. So also going to be using actual Navy ammo, so that'll make a huge difference. Okay, so I accepted a whole 2 missions and I've completed 0. Luckily, I did set myself up with some ships beforehand throughout the week, so it's not a big deal. But that's faction warfare. It was a pretty decent start. I jumped in, and Federation Navy Comet was getting hit by those 2, and I was trying to get in there, see if I could help him out a little bit, but obviously there wasn't a lot that I could do, so just now realizing something as well. That Federation Navy Comet was sitting still. Interesting. Um, Welp. So maybe we should have had that fight. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. It was fun, and the setup did last quite a while. Again, that was all tier 1. Um, got a couple fits saved for that, but I actually am gonna fit this a little bit more improved setup here. So okay, still the same lock range, but now 12-kilometer instead of a 9-kilometer range already there. Big difference. My warp disruptor range is 24 kilometers, so that again is kind of a big difference. It's nice. I'm gonna take some tier 1 ammo for missions, and then some other faction. Again, some of the stuff I was talking about being able to overheat was not scram, so I could have used my MWD a little more. Not a big deal, but okay. So a couple things I guess we'll talk about. Obviously, 1 verse 2 might have been a 2 verse 2. Really hard to say. That Navy comment, like I said, wasn't moving at all. Not 100% sure what was up with that. I could have bounced out of there when he went down. He was shooting, he just wasn't moving at all. So I don't really know 100% what was going on there. But they were able to get away, basically in and out of my range, my lock range, with the Atron right now. And that is something that can be basically fixed to an extent with some skills. You're Let me make this jump here and I'll pull up my skills list. Okay. Your targeting skills down here, alphabetical range or order, long range targeting, bonus targeting range per skill level. So higher you get that, that's going to help out a lot. So Atron has a really short targeting range to start off with, and definitely shows. And I've got about 27 km lock range, so bouncing in and out like that, I was losing that lock, of course. and they were able to maintain that lock. They definitely had a little bit higher skills. The Condor probably should have had about the same lock range as me. The Breacher definitely a little more, I believe. And that's base lock range. So they definitely held me down and had a little bit more weapon range on me. I don't even know if they really noticed that, but they definitely had those ranges on me. So so I have a Kestrel and a Hook Bill on short. I'm guessing might be trouble for me right there, but and they're probably in the site. Okay, I am kind of set up a little more for long range. I'm not going to go in the site. What I do have is a couple friendlies in here, but looking at 5 non-friendlies, so Thought maybe they'd bounce back at range. Looks like not. I probably went to this gate. Nope. Not this gate. Safe. Okay, what I did there was I went to a complex that some of these smaller ships go into, novice and small. I went in at 100, kind of burned away to see if somebody followed or if somebody would come out. I'm not going to go in chasing somebody with a fit like this. This fit is more for keeping range and staying out of scram and web range for sure, even though depending on how decent you're at piloting, which, I mean, these ships you're going to get slingshotted in. It's just a matter of maneuvering to really minimize the slingshot. No, there's been plenty of fights, even with higher skills. Excuse me. I've still been slingshotted, and somebody gets a scram and web on me, and I might skirt along the edge of it, just barely get scrammed webbed, paying attention to that range though, and able to reinitiate my MWD. So if you're paying attention to being slingshotted, you can really minimize the effects by kind of being ahead of that. I think what I'm going to do is, because I mean, I've got 10 ships and I want to get a little more action in on this, so I'm going to accept one more mission here, and then I'm going to redo my waypoints to get in some of these missions done, and that way I can still do some fights here and there as well. So if you're looking at avoiding fights, so again, I was a little aggressive staying on the field after the Navy Comet went down. I'm not really sure what was going on with that Comet being at 0 velocity. Like I said, that fight was weird, I guess. I don't know. But I did, yeah. Got some shots off, stayed around a little too long. I think a whopping 20 DPS with that last fit, where I'm looking at 30 DPS right here at long range, so and a longer range at that. So I've got a lot of neutrals and a few friendlies in here. So and again, friendlies being faction warfare, they're the same faction as I am, so obviously I can't attack them without causing problems. You can definitely attack them, and then I mean, really, it doesn't matter. You can shoot them all you want. You just get kicked out of that faction, so join another faction. But if you're looking to stay around for a while, get some loyalty points for completing some of the missions and stuff. It's actually one of the things I was gonna say too, is that probably with these fits, the most expensive thing is ammo. So if you keep a bunch of tier 1 ammo around and you complete some of these missions, you can actually keep stocked up on ammo and then afford your fits. And it's not that bad. So see, I am going on about an hour though for the stream, so I think I'm gonna cut this one short. Take like a 15-minute break, and then come back and finish up these missions, clear some waypoints, and do the missions and try to get some more fights. Like I said, I've got 10 ships. These ones are all meta 3, 4 mod fitted, so it's gonna be a little bit more of a fight, a little more HP, a little more damage output, and then should be pretty interesting. So again, yeah, come back in like 15 minutes, I guess. Is that if you're watching your Eve time, or if you're on regular time or whatever? It's the Pacific Standard Time. It'd be about, I don't know, 4:20 roughly. So I'll restart the stream again at about 4:20 and get another hour in on it, and that way we can finish up some missions and see some more good fights. 10 ships, hopefully 10 more fights, and make a little bit of ISK or LP so I can go trade in some ISK. And then basically though, you saw it was really my choice to take that fight, so I could have just skipped it, went and made some ISK, and then went out and lost some ships. But I do have 10 ships, and I do plan on losing them in the next couple streams. So right now though, we'll hopefully get some fights picked in some of my missions. So see you guys in about 15 minutes, and hopefully get a second video going. Thank you.